The evening hung heavy with tension, a prelude to the storm brewing in our living room. "What do you mean she's moving in tomorrow?" I asked Greg, my voice barely containing the shock and anger. Greg didn't even flinch. "It's decided. Elise's mom's coming to live with us. It makes sense, especially now," he replied, his tone resolute. "How can you make such a decision alone?" I countered, feeling the walls of our home closing in on me. "What about our plans?" Greg wore that all-knowing look, the one that always set me on edge. "We'll convert your home office. It's the only logical solution," he said dismissively, adding, "You don't really need it. Besides, I pay the rent here, $3,000 a month. That gives me a say in how we use the space." I was stunned. This house, the one my parents had passed down to me, now felt alien, controlled by Greg's financial hold over it. "But this is my family home," I whispered, more to myself than to him. Greg's voice was cold, devoid of the warmth I once fell in love with. "Your family home or not, I'm the one footing the bills now. Get your stuff cleared out by tomorrow." That night, I couldn't sleep. The realization that our marriage was a facade built on the shaky grounds of financial power and silent submission hit me hard. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of my office being emptied. Maran, Greg's mother, arrived with her suitcases, an unwelcome guest in my own home. In the days that followed, the tension escalated. Maran's presence was overbearing. She rearranged the kitchen, criticized my cooking, and worst of all, subtly belittled me in front of our daughter Maya. I felt like a stranger tiptoeing around my own life. Greg became more distant, his conversations curt, his nights late. Our home, once filled with laughter and shared dreams, now echoed with the sounds of unspoken resentments and forced politeness. One evening, I overheard Greg and Maran discussing finances. "Elise doesn't contribute much anyway," Maran scoffed. "She should be grateful we're letting her stay." I felt a surge of anger. This was my family home, a place of cherished memories now being reduced to financial transactions and power plays. The next morning, I confronted Greg. "I want to talk about the rent," I said, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside. This was my family's home. I never agreed to pay rent. Greg's response was a mix of arrogance and indifference. "Well, things change, Elise. I'm paying the bills, so technically, it's more my house than yours now." That was the moment I knew our marriage, a delicate balance of love and compromise, had crumbled under the weight of control and disrespect. I called my father, Nolan, my voice shaking. "Dad, I need your help. It's about Greg." As I hung up, I realized that this was just the beginning. I wasn't going to let Greg and Maran turn my life into their dominion. They might have underestimated me, thinking I'd crumble under their control. But they were wrong. I was my father's daughter, and I knew a thing or two about standing my ground. Sitting in the empty room that used to be my office, I couldn't help but reminisce about the early days with Greg. We were like two pieces of a puzzle fitting perfectly with our differences, but now those differences were tearing us apart. I remembered our first date, how Greg's laughter had echoed in the autumn air, how he had looked at me as if I was the only person in the world. It was hard to reconcile that memory with the man who had just usurped my family home. My phone buzzed, pulling me back from the past. It was a text from my father, Nolan. "All right, I'll take care of it. Meet me at the shop tomorrow." Nolan's auto repair shop had been a cornerstone of my childhood. It wasn't just a place of business. It stood as a testament to my father's hard work and dedication. Much like our family home, the shop held memories of a life once brimming with warmth and togetherness. The next day, I stepped into the familiar scent of oil and metal. Dad was beneath the car, his hands moving expertly as he worked. "Dad," I called out, He slid out from under the car, wiping his hands. Elise, let's talk in the office. The office was a cozy space adorned with trophies from car shows and framed family photos. It encapsulated happier times. I can't believe Greg is doing this, Dad said, his eyes reflecting a mix of anger and concern. I know, Dad. I think it's time for some payback, I replied. Dad nodded, a determined look crossing his face. What do you have in mind? I want Greg and Maran out of the house, but I want to do it legally. Make them feel the consequences of their actions, I explained. Dad leaned back in his chair, pondering. We can draw up a rental agreement. Hike up the rent, make it impossible for them to stay. I felt a mix of relief and apprehension. This was the first step in reclaiming my life, but it also meant declaring war on Greg and Maran. Let's do it, I said, surprising even myself with the resolve in my voice. Over the next few days, Dad and I meticulously crafted the rental agreement, a strategic plan designed to legally corner Greg and Maran. I couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction imagining their faces when they would see the new terms. Meanwhile, back at the house, Maran's true colors began to shine more vividly. She complained about everything, from the way I dressed Maya to the brand of coffee I bought. Her words were like needles, subtle but piercing. One evening, I overheard her on the phone. Yes, I finally got Elise under my thumb. This house will be ours soon. Fury and disbelief coursed through me. How could she be so callous, so manipulative? But her words also sealed my resolve. This wasn't just about me anymore. It was about protecting Maya from this toxic environment. The day arrived to present the rental agreement to Greg and Maran. I walked into the living room, the document in hand, my heart pounding. Greg, we need to talk about the house, I said, my voice steady. As Greg's eyes scanned the pages, I saw a range of emotions flicker across his face: confusion, disbelief, and finally, anger. This is absurd. The rent's been raised tenfold, he exclaimed. It's the market rate for this property. If you can't afford it, you'll have to find somewhere else to live, I said, meeting his gaze. Greg's face turned red, his anger palpable. You can't do this to us, he protested. I can, and I am, I replied, feeling a sense of empowerment I hadn't felt in years. This is my family home, Greg. You've forgotten that, but I haven't. The days following the presentation of the rental agreement were a blend of silent battles and open confrontations. Maran's true nature, once hidden under a veil of polite intrusion, now emerged in full force. One evening, I was setting the table for dinner when Maran entered the kitchen. Her eyes quickly scanned the room, landing on the simple yet nutritious meal I had prepared. This is what you call dinner, she scoffed. Back in my day, we knew how to provide for our families properly. I clenched my teeth, forcing a polite smile. It's healthy, and Maya likes it, I defended. Maran snorted, dismissing my efforts with a wave of her hand. Children don't know what's good for them. It's up to us to teach them. Clearly, you lack that understanding. Her words stung, but I remained composed. I had learned that reacting to Maran only fueled her disdain. As the days went by, Maran's presence became more oppressive. She criticized my parenting, my housekeeping, even my choice of clothes. It was as if she was deliberately trying to provoke me. One afternoon, I returned home from a quick errand to find Maya in tears and Maran sitting calmly in the living room, reading a magazine. What happened? I asked, rushing to comfort my daughter. Your child is just being fussy as usual, Maran replied without looking up. I don't have the patience for such nonsense. I held Maya close, feeling a surge of protective anger. How could she be so cold towards her own granddaughter? Later that week, I had a meeting with a potential client for my small business. Maran, could you please watch Maya for a couple of hours? I asked, hoping for a bit of cooperation. Maran looked at me, her expression one of annoyance. Fine, but make it quick. I have plans later. I returned from the meeting to find Maya once again in distress. Maran was nowhere in sight. After calming Maya down, I confronted Maran. Where were you? Trusted you to look after her. Maran rolled her eyes. I had to step out for a bit. She was sleeping anyway. What's the big deal? The big deal was that Maran's selfishness was now affecting Maya, my most precious treasure. I realized then that Maran would never change. Her contempt for me had spilled over to Maya, and I wouldn't tolerate it any longer. I called my father that night, my voice trembling with a mix of anger and determination. Dad, it's getting worse. She's not just targeting me now. She's neglecting Maya. Nolan. Over the next several months, life began to settle into a new rhythm. The once tumultuous home was now a sanctuary where Maya and I could rebuild our lives with a sense of peace and stability. The legal battles were behind us, and each day was a step further away from the shadow of Greg and Marion. One sunny afternoon, as Maya and I were planting flowers in the garden, she looked up at me with her bright eyes and asked, "Mommy, are we happy now?" I smiled, feeling a profound sense of relief and contentment. Yes, sweetheart, we are very happy now. The garden, much like our lives, was a work in progress. With each passing day, the flowers we planted began to bloom, symbolizing the new beginnings that were taking root in our hearts. It wasn't just the physical house that had transformed. It was the very essence of our lives that had shifted toward a more hopeful and resilient future. Maya's laughter filled the air, a sound that had become a beacon of joy in our home. She thrived in the environment of love and support that my father and I provided. Watching her play, carefree and full of life, reinforced my resolve to continue building this new chapter with strength and positivity. I reconnected with old friends and made new ones, finding a community that embraced and supported us. My small business began to flourish, thanks to the dedication and hard work I poured into it. The customers who visited the shop often commented on the warmth and positivity they felt, reflecting the transformation that had taken place within me. One evening, as the sun set over our newly renovated home, I received an unexpected call. It was Greg, his voice tentative and sincere. "Elise," he began, "I wanted to let you know that I've been attending therapy and working on myself. I realize now how much I hurt you and Maya. I'm truly sorry." Hearing his words, I felt a mix of emotions, anger, sadness, and a flicker of hope that people can change. "Greg, it's good that you're seeking help. For Maya's sake, I hope you continue to improve." Our conversation was brief, but it marked a significant turning point. It wasn't just about forgiveness. It was about recognizing that healing was a journey for everyone involved. Greg's apology, though late, was a step toward mending the broken pieces of our past. The seasons changed, and with each one, we grew stronger. The house, once filled with conflict, now resonated with the sounds of Maya's laughter, the hum of daily life, and the warmth of family and friends. My father, always a pillar of strength, became an even more integral part of our lives, his wisdom and love guiding us through the challenges we faced. One crisp autumn morning, as I sipped my coffee on the porch, reflecting on how far we had come, I realized that this journey had not only been about reclaiming a physical space, but also about reclaiming our sense of self, dignity, and hope. The battles we fought were not just legal or personal, but were battles of the heart and spirit. Maya joined me on the porch, snuggling close. "Mommy, can we plant more flowers next spring?" I kissed the top of her head, feeling a deep sense of contentment. "Of course, sweetheart. We'll plant a whole garden full of flowers." As we sat together, watching the leaves fall and the world change around us, I knew that we had built something beautiful out of the chaos. We had found our way back home, not just to a house, but to a place of peace, love, and resilience. The future was bright, filled with endless possibilities. And with every step we took, we walked further into the light, leaving the shadows of the past behind. This was our story, a story of strength, love, and the unyielding spirit to overcome. And as the sun set on that peaceful evening, I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, we were ready to face them together. As the autumn days grew shorter and the crisp air signaled the approach of winter, life continued to blossom in our sanctuary. Maya's schoolwork thrived, and she developed new friendships, her bubbly personality endearing her to everyone she met. The warmth of our home became a magnet for family gatherings, laughter, and shared meals, filling our space with a sense of belonging and togetherness. My father, ever the handyman, helped me winterize the garden and make necessary preparations for the colder months. We spent weekends chopping wood for the fireplace, repairing any wear and tear around the house, and enjoying the fruits of our labor in the cozy evenings by the fire. One snowy afternoon, as I was sorting through old photographs, I came across a picture of my mother, holding me as a baby. Her smile was radiant, and her eyes sparkled with the same joy I saw in Maya's eyes. It was a poignant reminder of the legacy of love and resilience passed down through generations. With a renewed sense of purpose, I decided to share these memories with Maya. We sat by the fireplace, a blanket wrapped around us, and I told her stories of her grandmother, stories of love, strength, and the indomitable spirit that she, too, carried within her. "Maya," I said, brushing a stray lock of hair from her forehead, "you come from a long line of strong women. Your grandmother was one of the strongest, and she would be so proud of you." Maya's eyes lit up with curiosity and pride. "Can you tell me more about her, Mommy?" I spent the rest of the afternoon sharing tales of my mother's kindness, her unwavering support, and the adventures we had together. It felt like my mother's presence was with us, her love bridging the past and the present, providing a foundation of strength for Maya and me. As winter deepened, our lives were filled with simple joys: baking cookies, decorating the house for the holidays, and spending time with friends and family. The house, once a place of pain, was now filled with warmth, love, and laughter, echoing with the sounds of a life well lived. One evening, as we sat around the dining table, Maya looked up at me and my father, her face serious. "Mommy, Grandpa, can we have a special celebration for Grandma? I want to honor her." Touched by her thoughtfulness, I nodded. "That's a wonderful idea, Mia. We'll have a special day to remember her and celebrate her life." We planned a small, intimate gathering, inviting close family and friends to join us in celebrating my mother's memory. We shared stories, looked at old photographs, and lit candles in her honor. It was a day filled with love, reflection, and a deep sense of connection to the past. The event brought healing and closure, allowing us to honor the past while embracing the future with open hearts. It was a testament to the enduring power of love and the strength of familial bonds. As spring approached, bringing with it the promise of new beginnings, we planted a garden in my mother's honor. Each flower was a symbol of her love, resilience, and the legacy she left behind. Maya and I worked side by side, nurturing the garden with care and dedication. Life continued to unfold in beautiful ways. My business flourished, and I found myself growing not only as an entrepreneur, but also as a mother, daughter, and woman. The challenges we faced had shaped us, but they did not define us. Instead, they became the stepping stones to a brighter, more fulfilling future. One sunny afternoon, as Maya and I walked hand in hand through our blooming garden, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. We had overcome so much and built a life filled with love, joy, and resilience. The shadows of the past had been replaced by the light of new beginnings. Maya looked up at me, her eyes shining with happiness. "Mommy, our garden is beautiful, just like Grandma." I smiled, my heart full. "Yes, sweetheart, it's beautiful, just like her." As we stood there, surrounded by the vibrant colors and fragrant blooms, I knew that we had not only reclaimed our lives, but had also created a legacy of love and strength that would carry us forward. Our journey was one of transformation, healing, and hope, a testament to the unbreakable bonds of family and the enduring power of love. With the arrival of spring, life in our sanctuary seemed to bloom in full. The garden we planted in my mother's honor thrived, each flower a vibrant reminder of her enduring love and strength. Maya's excitement about our garden was infectious, and we spent countless hours tending to it together. Our shared effort brought us even closer, the garden becoming a symbol of our resilience and growth. The success of my business continued to provide us with stability and the freedom to enjoy life's simple pleasures. Maya excelled in school, her bright mind and kind heart winning the admiration of her teachers and peers. Our home was filled with the laughter of friends and family, our days marked by joy and connection. One afternoon, as we worked in the garden, Maya turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "Mommy, do you think Grandma can see us?" I knelt down beside her, gently tucking a stray curl behind her ear. "I believe she can, Mia, and I think she's very proud of us." Maya's smile was radiant, her eyes reflecting the peace that had settled over our lives. "Hope so. I want to make her proud." "You already do, sweetheart," I assured her, feeling the truth of my words. The legacy of love and strength my mother had passed down to us was alive and well in Maya, a testament to the power of familial bonds. As summer approached, we decided to host a garden party, inviting our close friends and family to celebrate our journey and the new chapter we had embraced. The house was filled with laughter, music, and the delicious aroma of home-cooked food. Our garden, in full bloom, provided a beautiful backdrop for the celebration. During the party, my father gave a heartfelt toast to my daughter and granddaughter, who have shown incredible strength and resilience, and to the memory of my beloved wife, whose love continues to guide us. Tears of gratitude filled my eyes as I hugged him, feeling the profound connection that bound us all together. The journey we had been on was not just about overcoming adversity, but about embracing the love and support that surrounded us. As the sun set and the stars began to twinkle in the sky, Maya and I sat on the porch swing, wrapped in a cozy blanket. The night was filled with the sounds of crickets and the gentle murmur of our guests' conversations. "Mommy," Maya said softly, leaning her head on my shoulder, "this is the best day ever." I kissed the top of her head, my heart full of love and contentment. "It really is, Maya. It really is." In that moment, I realized that our journey was not about reaching a final destination, but about cherishing each step along the way. We had found strength in our struggles, joy in our achievements, and love in our connections. The future stretched out before us, full of promise and possibility. As the seasons changed and the years passed, our lives continued to be filled with love, laughter, and the enduring bonds of family. We celebrated milestones, weathered challenges, and embraced each new day with gratitude and hope. Maya grew into a remarkable young woman, her spirit as bright and resilient as ever. She carried with her the legacy of her grandmother, the lessons of love and strength that had shaped our lives. And I, too, found a deeper sense of peace and purpose, knowing that we had built a life that honored the past while embracing the future. In the end, our story was one of transformation and hope, a testament to the unbreakable bonds of family and the enduring power of love. It was a story of reclaiming our lives, finding our strength, and creating a legacy that would carry us forward. forever intertwined with the love and memories of those who came before us. In the end, the journey through the trials and tribulations revealed not just the depth of Elise's strength, but also the resilience of the human spirit. The house, once a battleground of conflict and manipulation, had transformed into a sanctuary of peace and hope. It stood as a testament to the power of standing up against injustice and reclaiming one's life. Elise's story is a reminder that the hardest battles often lead to the most rewarding victories, and that within each of us lies the strength to overcome and thrive. As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the yard, Elise and Maya stood together, a symbol of triumph, resilience, and the unwavering bond of family. They were finally home, ready to embrace the future with open hearts and hopeful spirits.